Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. With these ancient prayers for peace, and also in the divine spiritual presence of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, in the equally divine presence of our Guru Hari Pramukh Swami Maharaj, Guru Hari Mahan Swami Maharaj, but apart from the spiritual presence, in the virtual presence of all the leaders of India, but most beloved presence, the actual presence of all of you who have spent that time and taken the effort to be with us today in the most precious presence of both the distinguished guests and all the people who are present here. Perhaps this idea of spirituality, virtual and actual, beautifully summarizes the Parva that we are celebrating in the next couple of days. What do I mean? Because Gujaratis have the flavor of beautifully blending in the spiritual, the actual, and the virtual. Let me explain in a very simple way that all of you have come from far afield. As mentioned by our Honorable Home Minister of India, from more than 20 countries and as many fields and professions. But at the same time, I was thinking as I was sitting down there and listening to everybody, at the same time, we have gathered here not to tell the world that Gujarati are great, but we have gathered today to tell the world that Gujaratis are good. Perhaps being good is far more important than being just great. Of course, this is a gathering of greatness, but making it a gathering of goodness will keep us shielded from arrogance. We are not here to amplify our arrogance, but we are here to exemplify our assurance to the world that together we can make a difference. As it was already echoed, कि ज्यां वसे एक गुजराती, ત્યાં સદાકાળ ગુજરાત. Let's think of this whole sentence in a different angle. જ્યાં વસે એક ગુજરાતી, you know what it means? Gujaratis have the power of one. You may need many people of some other communities, but one Gujarati is enough to create a Gujarat and the experience of Gujarat. Never underestimate the power of one. The world needed just one Edison, and suddenly there was light. The world needed just one Nelson Mandela, and the whole of South Africa has remained gelled together. The world needed just one Neil Armstrong. You and I are never going to go to the moon, and yet we celebrate that man has conquered the moon. And the world needed just one Mahatma Gandhi. It changed the meaning of revolution. If one Gujarati can do so much, imagine what two Gujaratis can do. And I'm here to remind you because as we are also celebrating 75 years of India's independence, the architects of independent India were two mighty Gujaratis, Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Patel. Not only did they set India free, they unified India as we know it. But come 75 years ahead in time, as Providence would have it, સંજોગ અવસાદ હું વાત કરું છું કે 75 વર્ષ પહેલા બે ગુજરાતી ભારતને સ્વતંત્રતા અપાવ્યું અને આજે પણ the architects of modern, safe, courageous, bold and brave India are two Gujaratis, Sri Narendrabhai Modi and Amitbhai Shah. What is the probability? But it gives you and me assurance that yes, if we think and if we are united and if our purpose is clear, we can make a difference wherever we are. His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj often explained to us. He said, of course we should celebrate the heroes of the past. But how do we want to celebrate the heroes of the past? By becoming the heroes of tomorrow. It's no use just sitting and applauding. It's no use just sitting and dreaming. Can you and I make a difference? Because the quality of a Gujarati is not just limited to Gujarat. Let's think ahead. As a famous poet, Uma Shankar Joshi said, "Evo to kevo Gujarati, je ho Gujarati kevad." એવો કયો ગુજરાતી જેવું કહે કે હું કેવળ ગુજરાતી. ગુજરાતી તો વિશ્વ માનવ છે અને ગુજરાતી તો વિશ્વ જાતિ છે. The people who have actually created India, who lead Gujarat, and when you yourself are a person who is making a difference in your position, your field, you are not ordinary. You have come from across the world and you have made a difference in your field and in your place of stay where you stay. But the power of a real Gujarati is not just by being a proud Gujarati. The real power lies in being a proud Indian, and it also lies in being a proud citizen of the world. We cannot limit ourselves to just a place or a language or just to a position. Can we contribute to the world scenario? And yes, we can. Just recently, as I have just explained, from a dependent India, we became an independent India. Now we have become a dependable India. I'll tell you why. I'm not just picking these words out of the lexicon or a dictionary. I've experienced it firsthand. Just 2 weeks ago, we were in France. And I think I need to share with you, all of you who are rational and thinkers, France is a religiously irreligious country. I think you understand what I'm trying to tell you. Where religion is a footnote. And I want to also explain that in France, when BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha was given a land to build the first traditional Hindu temple in the whole of mainland Europe, when we were sitting with the former Prime Minister of France, Raffarin, the chief editor of La Figaro, Renaud Girard, and when we were discussing with some of the finest minds of France, you know what came up? All the people in one voice said, now please mark these words. These are not my words, but these are the words you should spread. All these thinkers of France, they told us, they said, Your Holiness, at a time when Europe is fragmenting, we are all looking towards India. Our president has told us that be India-centric. And now wait for the biggest surprise that I got. They said that there are superpowers in the world, but there are also stable powers. India is a stable power because it has the depth of spirituality. You have a leader in your Prime Minister Modi, and you have great leaders in your traders and businessmen. So I wanted to tell you that when the world is looking towards India, and it's not just us or the President of Mexico, it's not just Europe, it's not just other people. Inside their heart that people know that India is a stable power. But it's not just limited to that. Just think, one of the most profound and most powerful leaders of the world is considered to be our Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi, who is a Gujarati. One of the most successful businessmen of the world is considered to be Gautam Bhai Adani, who is a Gujarati. And very humbly I want to share with you, often called the greatest saint of this century, His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj too was a Gujarati. All these three people have taken the roots of Gujarat, never sacrificing the roots. Despite being the Prime Minister, Narendra Bhai Modi kept up the culture of fasting 9 days in Navratri. Find me one leader who could sit and sip water in the presence of the President of America. Culture was never diminished. Despite being a great businessman, I still remember every time Gautam Bhai takes his flight from London, he asks for pure food from the Nisdan Swaminarayan Mandir. Never sacrificed the principles. And despite being invited by the United Nations, where more than 2,000 religious leaders were present, and we were told that in the United Nations you can only speak the national language, still Pramukh Swami Maharaj chose to speak in Gujarati. First time ever Gujarati was spoken in the United Nations. Being proud of your roots does not make you limited. It actually gives you a scope of having the whole globe before you. So let us understand that we have gathered here today not just to celebrate the greatness of Gujaratis, but the goodness. Some wise man told me that Gujaratis stands for G for generosity, U for understanding. We have an amazing ability to understand. J for being just and jovial. A for being adventurous. Gujaratis are adventurous. R for being reliable. Very important, if nothing works, a Gujarati will work. A for being aware. Despite being humble, we are aware of everything. T for being trustworthy. I for being industrious. And S for being simple and spiritual. This is the acronym of Gujaratis. We have a value system. And I will just leave you with one simple story that I wanted to share with you. The value system is so important for all of us to preserve. The most important fact, I will leave you with one idea and conclude what I wanted to share with you. That once there was an emperor, and the emperor had 3 sons. આ સમ્રાટ પાસે 3 દીકરાઓ હતા, અને સમ્રાટની ઈચ્છા હતી કે કોને હું મારું સામ્રાજ્ય આપું. So the emperor comes to his 3 sons and he says that I'm giving you a golden chest. એક નાની સુવર્ણમય પેટી આપું છું. અને 3 દીકરાઓને કહ્યું કે હું 10 વર્ષ માટે જંગલમાં જાઉં છું, 10 વર્ષ પછી I will return back. Please take care of this golden chest. This is an important lesson for all our children, as Sunil Bhai just mentioned. He said, take care of this chest, I will come back after 10 years. 10 વર્ષ પછી, after 10 years, એ સમ્રાટ પાછા આવે છે. He goes to the eldest son and he asks that where is the chest? એ જે એમનો શ્રેષ્ઠ સન હતો એને કહે છે કે પિતાજી મને ખબર જ હતી તમે મારી પાસે પહેલા આવશો. So I have kept that chest for the last 10 years in a safe place, guarded it by royal guards. Nobody has gone in and nobody has come out. Here the chest is for you and with you as you gave me. Preservation. એ ચેસ્ટની અંદર, એ નાના બોક્સની અંદર બિયારણ હતું, seeds. So he said, I'm giving you your seeds back as they were. Preservation. Preserve them as they were. બીજા દીકરા પાસે જાય છે અને બીજો દીકરો એવું કહે છે કે પિતાજી મેં જોયું અંદર સીડ્સ હતા. દર વર્ષે સીડ્સ બગડી જાય એટલે દર વર્ષે હું એના જૂના સીડ કાઢી અને એટલા જ નવા લેતો હતો. એટલે મેં તમને અત્યારે હું જે બિયારણ આપું છું તો કાલે તમે વાવો અને ઉગી શકે એવું બિયારણ છે. His job was transformation. એક જતન, બીજું પરિવર્તન. અને ત્રીજા દીકરા પાસે જાય છે કે બેટા મેં તને જે બોક્સ આપ્યું હતું એ ક્યાં છે? The little kid takes his father to the back of the palace and shows him, Father, can you see a forest? He said, yes. I saw that the seeds are not to be preserved, the seeds are to be planted. I have planted those trees and the forest you see are the seeds that you gave me to keep. We have three choices before us, all Gujaratis sitting here. Do you want to preserve the values? Do we want to transform the values? Or do we want to regenerate the values? Some might say preserve, some might say transform, and some might say regenerate. My attitude is all three. There are a couple of values of love, relationship, of joy we should preserve as they are. The values that give us success, the values that give us prominence in this world, we should keep transforming and evolving. And the values of our own belief and our own dreams, we should keep planting and regenerating. Today is a gathering of preservation, of transformation and regeneration, the values that make Gujaratis great and good. Which is the single most value that really identifies us. Today happens to be the birthday of President Abdul Kalam, 15th October. I knew him for 20 years. He loved Pramukh Swami Maharaj as his ultimate guru. And in my conversations with him, he once told me that, do you know what is the greatest quality of a Gujarati? Of course, I said generosity, understanding, adventurous. I said so many values. But Dr. Kalam, what a wise man. You know what he said? Gujaratis are the most peaceful people on this planet. And that's what I want you to do. Of course, you can become famous as traders. You can become famous as thinkers. Of course, go forward and become great famous as actors, performers. Be famous in everything you do. But our trademark is peacemakers. Can you go home and make greater peace at home? Greater peace in your neighborhood, greater peace in the workplace. Can you go home and make a greater peace in your region, in the country and everywhere? If we are the greatest peacemakers, the compassionate people, I want to tell you that it is still possible, even if it seems like a dream. I will end with something that somebody asked me to share in just a couple of minutes. Recently, I think you know that Amit Bhai mentioned that the Prime Minister has made great temples and great spiritual regeneration of complexes in India. But I also want to share that there's nothing like a limit to any Gujarati mind or heart. You might have heard there is a temple which is coming up in Abu Dhabi. It is the first of its kind in the history of human civilization. Remember, when a Muslim king donates land for a Hindu temple, where our chief architect is a Christian Catholic, where our chief consultant is a Chinese who believes in goodness, where our project director is a Sikh, where the construction company is Shapurji Palanji Parsis, where the chairman of the entire project is from a Jain tradition and the foundation makers are Buddhist. This is the BAPS Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi, but it has happened because His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was Gujarati by birth, he said a prayer that there will be a temple in Abu Dhabi, and the will of our Prime Minister, who believes that along with trade and supremacy, culture and spirituality are equally important. I would leave you this morning with just the one idea. Of course, Gujaratis are made in peace, and Gujaratis are made for peace. It is our duty to upgrade peace and at the same time to spread peace. Let us become the greatest peacemakers on this earth. Once again, I thank Aina and TV9 and all the dignitaries on this stage and every one of you who are actually present for your families and for your health and happiness. Thank you for being here and showing the world that we can make a difference of being good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. धन्यवाद, आभार पूज्य